day 2 of our trip. Is it day 2 or is it day 3? Day 3, I think, yes. And we're off to a beautiful place. But as it's a little bit of a drive, about a 25-minute drive from where we are. Beautiful weather. So we've been blessed by lovely weather still. End of August in London. This isn't London. This is Somerset. We're now in Yeovil. So officially in Yeovil right now. And me and Autumn were just talking about life in general. We were talking about grief, loss, and how everyone deals with it differently. And she said to me, you know, you talk openly on your platforms about your loss. Should I record it? And I said, if you feel like recording it, go ahead. So the question was, what was your question? She asks a lot of deep questions when we're, you know, alone and we're just spending time together. It's a good way of getting to know the other person.
How have you dealt with grief? You've had a few losses in the last 5-6 years.
Yeah. So, I mean, I hadn't even gotten over the news of my husband, first of all, being diagnosed with cancer, and very soon after, 2 years later, being told he's only got 3 to 6 months to live. 3 to 6 months to live. His leukemia was in the blast phase. Even his doctor was absolutely flabbergasted how that had happened from the chronic phase. He didn't detect the accelerated phase. It went straight to blast phase. So how that had impacted us, the entire family. So my sisters, father, everyone. This was the first sign of cancer in our immediate family, and how we were all dealing and coping with that, especially my family, my children. But then all of a sudden, one day my sister collapses. One night, a day before Good Friday, it was a Thursday, got a phone call about 11:05 at night, that Thursday, 2016, to be told that she's fainted. That's what we thought at the time. She's collapsed, she's fainted, and she's vomiting. So we dashed in the car towards her home. Hadn't even got there halfway when we got the news that the ambulance have now taken her to the hospital, so make your way to the hospital. And this is my middle sister telling me about the younger sister, who was at the time 45. And we headed towards the hospital, got to the hospital, and within 2 hours, I don't want to go into too many details right now, but within 2 hours we were told she's not going to make it. This is it. And it was just a bombshell. And you think, what do you mean? This is it? She was fine. What do you mean? So she had a brain hemorrhage and was just given now a few hours. She breathed her last on that Saturday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Up until that time, obviously, so much happened. We were trying to donate her organs. And it was just after she passed away, a month later, by the end of April, we've got more bad news that the middle sister, who was fine, she had minor health issues, had got lung cancer, stage 3A, and 2 tumours. She battled with her lung cancer for 10 months. And again, Easter 2017, she passed away. So that was, for us, that was devastating. But you can just imagine for my parents how difficult that was. Already my father was bedridden, a patient of stroke, and dealing with that. before she passed away, she took us all for Umrah. We all went to Mecca. We didn't go to Medina because that was too much for her. She was in a wheelchair. That was in February, her birthday week. Her birthday was on the 15th of February. So that was her birthday week. We went, and early April she was gone. May their souls rest in peace. And then the third year was my father. So you can just imagine, we as a family just left with my mother, me, and my youngest brother was the baby of the family. Just the three of us. Of course, it affected the children, affected my younger sister's two daughters. Their life was turned upside down. But we weren't getting over one grief and then another and then another. So live with trauma inside our bodies. I believe inside my body. I'm going to go and talk about myself. I don't want to talk about others and what they went through. But very traumatic. Spending the last 2 days in hospital and bathing their bodies, preparing that for the funeral, and the loss. Huge loss, huge loss. They had their whole life to live for. Just gone. So how did I deal with that grief? Try to get some counselling. I think I went for a couple of private sessions, but didn't feel like I bonded with the counsellor that well. Didn't feel like I was achieving anything. Even on the NHS, I think I went for 1 or 2 sessions. The NHS queues were like very long. You have to wait like 3 months. By that time, you feel like because you've got a good system of friends around you, so you've got a support system, you think you're fine, you've coped, but you're not. And so I didn't go when the appointments came up. I didn't really go. But I'm really, really grateful for those people that were very close to me. I pushed a lot of people away. I didn't want to meet people when there were any invitations or suggestions that we should go for dinner or for tea. Last minute I would just cancel. I just felt like I just wanted to be myself. I just needed that time to grieve on my own. Didn't feel like anyone really fully understood the depth of my pain. And I didn't expect it. I didn't expect people to understand, but I just wanted to be left on my own. So slowly I pushed people away. But some people that really understood that I needed that time have stayed in my life. They understand. And that's fine. We're forever evolving. People will come and go into our life. That's absolutely fine. When you shed relationships, that's fine. We all deal with grief differently. We all need time to grieve. Different pace. Dealing with this. Like I said, it is a trauma, and that trauma can have so many effects inside your body as well. My mother that was left with 2 daughters that had gone, lost her partner as well. Although he was bedridden, it doesn't matter, but still having your partner around, someone you talk to, discuss, your concerns, just when you're not having a good time. My father felt that loss a lot. He was very close to both those daughters. Our sisters, we were just like any other sisters, any siblings that have their ups and downs, good days, bad days, but we were there for one another. We were always there for one another. We understood each other. I feel that loss even to this day, a lot. Such a big void in my life, and I'm trying to find that void. And it hasn't helped that my relationship with my husband is such that because of his illness, it's impacted our relationship. That's what I should say, really. It doesn't help that my husband's illness has changed him as well, which has had a huge impact on our relationship as well. So it's from all sides, I feel. I'm not saying like there aren't other people in this world, obviously with far worse situations than I am. But don't know if I can say that I've actually dealt with it. Have I? But I can say that coming on social media, talking about it openly, sharing my story, people sharing their stories, and everyone being there for one another, that has helped. What I would also like to say is that, you know, we should all try to understand and be very patient with people, because no matter what kind of loss it is, whether it's losing someone to death or an end of a relationship, whether it's a friend or a partner, we all deal with things differently. We just need to be very patient and allow that person some time and space. And if they're doing well in life, if you see that, you know, they haven't gone into depression, they're getting up, getting on with their life, then support them even more. In a way, like if someone is in deep depression, then obviously they need to see a doctor. If they're struggling to get up, they're struggling to see a reason for them to carry on. If you find that someone has changed so much that they're not looking after themselves, then you need to make sure that you actually help them to see someone, a professional. I believe every single person would benefit from professional counselling because of everything that we're all going through. The pandemic had a knock-on effect on us as well. So many factors. So it's not going to be pointless, it's not going to be wasted seeing a counsellor if you need a regular counsellor. But like I said, this is very therapeutic for me. Being on social media definitely has been therapeutic, and I've come across some beautiful people, lovely people in my life. Some are still strangers, but wow, look at these country lanes we're going through. Amazing. But I just believe that not everyone will get it. They won't. My advice definitely is that if you find that nobody understands around you, you haven't got a support system, no one's supporting you, no one's understanding you, then you definitely should go and seek help. Speak to your GP first. If you can afford to pay for counselling, then get a paid counselling. If not, there is a lot of support you can still get. If you're grieving a loss or struggling with any form of mental illness, there is a lot of help, and I will leave at the bottom of the description box some information about what I know. and there's really absolutely nothing to worry about. You know, you don't need to give it a second thought. If you're finding that there's too many negative people in your life, or there's people in your life that are bringing nothing, no value, not adding any value to your life, just honestly, don't give it a second thought. Cut loose those ties. Cut loose those ties if you can. If you can't, distance yourself from those relations. It's imperative that we look after ourselves. Our mental illness is going to have an impact on our physical health. It will impact our daily lives as well. So it's so important to cut yourself loose of those kind of toxic relations, toxic people in your life, that bring you down, that constantly bring you down, and that don't understand what you're going through. They don't want to understand, and they don't have the patience to understand. We're all going through a lot in life. Like I said, social media has definitely helped me, and that's why I put that vlog before this, how it's impacted my life in a very positive way. And I can just sing its praises now, at this stage in my life, definitely. But what happens next, I don't know. But what I do know is that even going on trips like this, staycations, day trips, with people you can resonate with people that bring joy and happiness in your life, that make you laugh, that you can have a good time, you can be yourself. So important to have those people close to your heart. Be mindful, be very, very patient as well. You know, there's going to be times when there's going to be misunderstanding. That doesn't matter. That doesn't mean that you just end it all. One thing's happened and end it all. Just be very patient. When you know that person is genuine in your life, that person cares about you, thinks about your wellness and well-being and your happiness, then it's important. It's important, isn't it?
It is.
And I'm very fortunate to have those selected people in my life. Like I said, I made a choice. I made a conscious decision to cut loose some relationships, conscious decision to move away. And when I was grieving, you know, it wasn't one loss. That's what people don't understand. It was one loss, and then spending a whole year by my sister's bedside. I used to spend weekends just sitting in bed with her. And the highlight for her day would be getting in my car and we just going for a car wash, coming back. On the way, she loved these fish and chips from a particular place. We'd grab some fish and chips. We'd come back home and back in her bed. And that was the highlight of her day. But I did that. I enjoyed that time with her. We would reminisce and talk about the past. So that whole year, and then she left me. And then my father's health deteriorated, ended up in hospital for a couple of months. He came out and he was gone. Just gone. All of them, one by one. So that's 50% of my family, immediate family, gone. So you can just imagine on the 4th year how we felt. It was like, whose turn is it now? And I kept thinking, is it my turn now? So look after yourselves. If you can take anything away from this, it's you're not doing anything wrong. You're doing nothing wrong if you've cut loose people, if you don't want to meet people. There is help. If you don't have that help around you, then seek help. Seek professional help, but also get involved in activities that bring you happiness and joy. Do whatever it is, whether it's meeting up with someone for a cup of tea, coffee, or whether it's just, what's this going to Crook Cone? Sorry guys. or whether it's just going for a day trip, getting involved in something like painting or pottery. That's a great hobby as well. Just something where you can express yourself and, you know, gain some pleasure out of it, whether it's window shopping. So pick up that phone. If you haven't been in touch with someone for a while, ask them how they're doing. Maybe that one phone call might make such a difference to their life. But heavy discussion for this trip. Take care of yourselves, everyone, and thank you very much for listening. Stay blessed. Goodbye.